My name is Sheridan Halfacre, and I'm the lead gunsmith at Refurbishing Armory here in downtown Memphis. Customer found us a couple weeks back. They were willed some guns from their father that had passed away. Their father was a gun collector, and he had collected some 1911s that were made in 1968 by Colt, and they're all commemorative for World War I. And they have 4 of the 6, and the 4 that they have are in regards to different battles of World War I, such as like the Argonne, Bella Wood, and 2 others that I cannot remember because I'm not a historian. But they dropped those off just for us to give them a pretty deep cleaning, make sure that they're okay, because the goal is to be in these shadow boxes for the next 50 to 100 years. So they had been beaten up a little bit. They said that a member of the family took them out, shot it, put it up wet kind of thing. So some of them were a little beat up with rust, but nothing that damaged the structural integrity of the firearm or even really the finish. It was just some pretty serious rust in a couple of serious locations. And we busted those off and really cleaned them up. Complete and total disassembly and just functions test to make sure that everything's good. They took some sort of like 3M like double-sided tape and stuck it to the grips so that they would stay in the case more. But over 50 some odd years now, they've been sitting in that case with that tape on there, and that tape is just dissolved and turned into a gunk, and it really discolored the brass coins inlaid into the grips of the 1911s. And pulled that off, cleaned up the brass, and then replaced that tape just with white felt to kind of match the background of the white cases. And the felt is thick enough to kind of push against the brackets that are holding the 1911s in place. I actually ended up just using a plastic razor blade because plastic is softer than anything else on that gun, and some oil to allow the oil to soak into the tape and really help just break it up, and then with that little plastic razor just scrape it off by hand. The thing that I was most concerned with is it tarnished the brass just specifically in a little rectangle. Big brass coin, very sharp noticeable tarnish on the brass, and it looked like doo-doo. So I was most concerned with how that would look after cleaning it up, because I couldn't pull the brass coin out of the grip, and anything that I would do to polish the coin might damage the wood, so I had to go in and polish it by hand with like a Q-tip and stuff. So that was kind of a pain in the ass. I think it looks great. I'm very happy with it. I'm a kind of a perfectionist with the work, especially with like museum quality work that we put out, like wearing white gloves, making sure everything's good. I want it to look as good as possible because it's going to be looking like that for the next 50 years. Some of them had the magazines kind of rusted in place. I guess they shot it in the rain or something and then just put it up wet and stuck it back in the case. So some of the magazines were kind of rust welded in place. I was able to get those out, and because they put them away wet, some of the things that for a basic disassembly, they were kind of a pain to get out. Some of the pins were rusted in place as well, and I put some oil up inside of that and let it sit for a couple days, and then just tap it out with a brass hammer and a brass punch, because on the front of the magazine there's a little cliff that I could just put a little pin on and tap it out. Reassembling is the most annoying part. Just the flat spring in the back that's called the sear spring. Like, you gotta get it in just right, and then there's a bunch of spring pressure that sits on top of it and wants to move it around, and that's what I normally have the most problem with. The overwhelming majority of what we do is like basic repairs and stuff like that, but we have a pretty serious love for old historical firearms. We couldn't have really even gotten into this trade without really believing and loving this old stuff and seeing where we came from and where we are now. My name is Sheridan Halfacre with Refurbishing Armory. If you got something cool, bring it in. We'd love to play with it.